HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It was a monumental game for A&M and Tampa. It was a monumental game. Somebody had to lose, and thank God it was them this time.
We knew it was going to be a battle. Look at Jake Gaither's record. 202 and 36, I think, some off-the-wall figures.
And nobody would play him because they didn't want to take a chance of getting beat. But the truth of it is,
over 46,000 tickets. Blacks were sitting in the east stands. Whites were sitting in the west stands. And the score wound up 34-28.
The only thing we proved that we wasn't inferior, that we were not inferior, and we were not afraid.
For one night, for 160 minutes, we was better than them.
This is Ryan Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
We are back. For the first time in 62 years, the Florida Memorial Lions will hit the gridiron, and their home games will be streamed by the Black College Sports Network at www.fmuathletics.com, www.mybcsn.net, and on the MyBCSN app, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
I am one of those people that are uniquely able to speak to why Florida Memorial is so important.
when we rebirthed football, that's when it really began to take fire. When we said that we were going to start playing football in fall of 2020, things started to happen.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, I was building on the...
It's an honor to be here on campus with you guys. It's Super Bowl down here in Miami.
Super Bowl weekend, man. We out here.
The dreams are talking one shot for the kill. The breeze cut, freeze up, straight drop for the kills. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares of bomb.
And all the men you see here today are here for one reason, and one reason only. And that's because they love you.
I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. We put the balls in the brakes. I'm talking one chance at best.
Stay true to who you are. Stay true to what you believe in, and stay dedicated to what you're chasing.
Never rest. Freedom is a teacher under pressure, not be blessed.
That's what we're all about here. We're about educating, we're about teaching, we're about making people better.
Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
I mean, I'm learning a lot about little things, but you got to do all of this stuff to produce. I'm only imagining when you do your shows and just all the different things that go into what we see.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It was a monumental game for A&M and Tampa. It was a monumental game. Somebody had to lose, and thank God it was them this time.
We knew it was going to be a battle. Look at Jake Aves' record. 202 and 36, I think, some off-the-wall figures.
And nobody would play him because they didn't want to take a chance of getting beat. But the truth of it is,
over 46,000 tickets. Blacks were sitting in the east stands. Whites were sitting in the west stands, and the score wound up 34-28.
The only thing we proved that we wasn't inferior, that we were not inferior, and we were not afraid.
For one night, for 160 minutes, we was better than them.
This is Brian Polk.
Hello and welcome to the campus of Florida Memorial University. I am Roy Evans. This is the Black College Sports Network. We are here for today's contest between the Warriors of Weber International and your Florida Memorial Lions. I turn your call over to now Brian Fulford and A.D. Drew.
Once again, good afternoon and welcome to the Wellness Center on the campus of Florida Memorial University for this early afternoon matinee. Brian, this is a matchup featuring two of the top teams in the conference early in the season. Weber International actually comes into the game with a better overall record at 5-1, but a 2-1 in the Sun Conference, and trail Florida Memorial in the conference by one half game in the standings. The Lions are 3-1 in the conference and lost their only non-conference matchup with St. Thomas, who is a conference opponent, but the game was a non-conference matchup. Brian, what can we expect from this this Weber International team today, Brian?
Well, Drew, it's good to be with you calling this game. I'll tell you, for Weber International, coming off a tough loss, 4-point loss, 77-73 to St. Thomas University, first loss of the season. The biggest thing is, how is this team going to respond to that loss? I mean, that was the Sun Conference game of the week. And so now you have to turn around and you got to play another top team in the conference. So the Warriors are going to be looking to their leaders in this contest. Paris Copeland, the leading scorer on this ball club, averaging 18 points a game. She had 21 points in the loss to St. Thomas. So they're definitely going to be leaning on her. And also Amaya Small. She had 17 and 10, which was her first double-double of the season last week. She averages 16 a game. So Weber had a good first half, shot the ball well, but in the second half, they were held to below 32% shooting in the third and fourth quarters. So in order for them to have success, that will have to change. But I expect this to be a very equal game. And it will come down to which team executes at the end of quarters. And definitely I think we're going to have a great fourth quarter.
Well, Florida Memorial has Sun Conference Player of the Week, Kiana Tolbert, who just happened to average 24, almost 25 points a game, and has scored at least 18 points in every game this season, Brian. So Florida Memorial has more than a good chance of get in this game. I expect this exciting matchup today. Brian, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a short break as they play the national anthem, and then we're going to come back for the starting lineup. You're here at the Wellness Center of Florida Memorial University. We'll be right back on the Black College Sports Network.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
We are back. For the first time in 62 years, the Florida Memorial Lions will hit the gridiron. And their home games will be streamed by the Black College Sports Network at www.fmuathletics.com, www.mybcsn.net, and on the MyBCSN app, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
I am one of those people that are uniquely able to speak to why Florida Memorial is so important.
When we rebirth football, that's when it really began to take fire. When we said that we were going to start playing football in fall of 2020, things started to happen.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, I was building on the.
It's an honor to be here on campus with you guys. It's Super Bowl down here in Miami.
Super Bowl weekend, man. We out here.
Your dreams, I'm talking one shot for the kill. The breeze come freeze up, straight drop for the kill. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares of all.
And all the men you see here today are here for one reason, and one reason only. And that's because they love you.
I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. We put the balls in the brakes. I'm talking one chance at best.
Stay true to who you are. Stay true to what you believe in, and stay dedicated to what you're chasing.
You never rest. Freedom is a teacher under pressure. Now we blessed.
That's what we're all about here. We're about educating, we're about teaching, we're about making.
All right, we're back here at the Wellness Center on the campus of Florida Memorial University in Miami Gardens, Florida. Your starting lineups for today, starting for Weber International. At guard, number 2, Leandra Frank, the redshirt senior from Jacksonville, Florida. Number 10, Paris Copeland, guard, senior, Lakeland, Florida. Number 15, Deja Wandick, number 15, 5'7", junior from Bakersfield, California. Number 22, Taylor Jackson, a 6-foot senior from Trenton, Florida. And number 24, Amaya Small, the 5'8" junior from Lakeland, Florida. And for your first place, Florida Memorial Lions, your starting lineup. Number 0, a junior, Heather Durant from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Number 1, Chantel Barnett, a 5'7" forward. She's a freshman from Cleveland, Ohio. Number 10, Jamari Tillman, a 5'8" forward from Louisville, Kentucky. Number 22, Destiny Mott, a 5'8" junior from Victorville, California. And number 23, Kiana Tolbert, a 5'7" junior from Orlando, Florida. And Brian, if you notice, the ladies do have on their Black Lives Matter shirt. As we all know, Black Lives do matter. And these girls are showing their support for the Black Lives Matter movement on today. As we get ready to jumping center for Weber will be number 22, Taylor Jackson, and jumping for Florida Memorial. Can't quite see the number because she got her back turned. That is number 0, Heather Durant. Weber has Weber takes the tip. Florida Memorial in a man-to-man defense. Inside the small. Great move inside. Weber International takes the early lead. To the backcourt pressure. They get it across. Barnett with the long jump shot. Rebound.
Yeah, Drew, you can already see that Weber International already making the commitment to get the ball inside.
Well, as you say inside, Brian, Copeland pops a 3 from the outside. So looks like they're going to try to play the complete game against the Florida Memorial Lions. And they come with the backcourt pressure jump shot by Tillman, no good. Weber International is on the break. Franklin handles the ball. They're gonna pull it out. Copeland is gonna reset it. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was gonna say that. Of course, you start with small. You start inside. Then, of course, Copeland has to go get her points. I mean, she is the leading scorer of the team.
And we have an offensive foul on the illegal screen. That foul was charged to number 22, Destiny Martin, checking into the game for the Florida Warrior Lions, number 32. Jayla Tyrone. As they continue with the full court pressure, driving right down the lane. Number 23, Kiana Tober, putting Florida Memorial on the board for the first time today, Brian.
That's what she does. That's a great move right to the rim. And, that's how she gets her points. I mean, a little bit as the game goes, she'll start popping them from outside. But early on, it's good to see her get to the basket.
10 seconds remain on the shot clock. Copeland's going to try to go one-on-one. Great defense by Florida Memorial. It pressures inside. Turnover when we got a foul. Fouls called on, looks like that's 22 Jackson for Weber International. Checking into the game for Weber International, number 32, Rochelle Jacob. Sloppy pass right there by Florida Memorial, number 3, Michael Cooper. Turn back over. Memorial's fast ball on the fast break on a 1-on-none. There you go, Miss Talbot. Take your time. Work on your fundamentals. Score the layup.
Nice defensive adjustment on that last possession by Florida Memorial.
Copeland drives baseline, kicks cross court, drive towards the middle. Rebound, great rebound after it's tipped around a couple of times by number 32, Tyrone. Maury comes down on their secondary break. Outside the Barnett, she pulls it back. She's going to get him into their set. Calls for the high screen, setting the screen. Durant. That's a pretty easy call. Number 32, Jacob, just did not rotate over, but they gave the foul to number 10, Copeland. If Jacob rotates over, she's got a better chance of forcing a pass or forcing something different to happen. Barnett at the line for 2, Brian.
Well,
free throw is up and good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, nothing. You got it. You called it right there. Not too much to add on that play. Well said.
You have to excuse me for overanalyzing sometimes, Brian. Sometimes I get caught up in the action right there. Second free throw is up and good. Great secondary free throw, fast break. Everything but the layup right there, Brian, by number 32, Jacob. Great pass inside the water. Good. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was going to say, I'm not a big fan of running that transition break in the way in which they ran it. There's a nice transition basket off the steal. That's a tough angle for the center running down the center of the floor. I think you would get a better shot if you could have somebody up ahead on the wing and then be able to get that ball inside to the center.
Driving to the lane right there is Tillman. Florida Memorial trails by 1, 9-8, approaching 6 minutes to go in the first quarter, Brian. I'll give you my opinions on that free throw fast break next time we see one, Brian. Long 3-point shot is good. Number 15, Deja Warden.
Just for people who obviously the first 3-point line, the inner one.
Barnett good with the free throw. Continue your thought, Brian.
That inner 3-point line is the women's line. The second one where she shot that is the men's line. So anybody who may have saw her foot on that line from the second 3-point line, she was behind the women's 3-point line. So
that is correct. As Weber International just blew 2 wide open layups inside, Brian.
Nothing worse than missing open layups. Nothing worse.
The only thing worse than that is probably missing a dunk.
I agree.
Out of bounds, 21 seconds remain on the shot clock. Ball was deflected out of bounds by number 21 for Weber International, Elton Graham. Forward drive has wide open in the corner. Barnett. Offensive rebound by number 32, Tyrone. Fighting underneath. We're going to have our first held ball of the day, Brian. Possession stays with Florida Memorial, Brian. What happened right there, Brian?
Well, Angela Tyrone, she's got to know where she's at on the floor. I mean, she gets that rebound. She's right there by the rim. I'm sure her coach would rather her be able to put that up quickly than try to look and see, just like that reverse layup right there. That is what could have happened on that previous play.
Yeah, and great one-handed reverse layup, Brian. That's like, I don't know if you wanted the Micah drill in your practices, but that was the Micah drill right there. Just going and doing that reverse layup right there off the glass. Weber's playing a lot of one-on-one drive and kick type basketball as we've got a turnover by Paris Copeland as she steps out of bounds. And Brian, we're going to take our first media time out of the day. 4:43 remain in the first quarter. Florida Memorial 12, Weber 12, right here on the Black College Sports Network.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or
We're back to live action. 4:40 remain in the first quarter. We're all tied up. Florida Memorial has the ball. Handling the ball is Chantel Barnett. calls for the high screen roll. She decides to pull it herself.
That's a long range shot off the pick and roll, and there's a nice ball work there by Weber International up ahead in transition.
And you gotta forgive us if you're out there. These Weber International doubles are kind of hard with the black uniforms with the dark green numbers on the uniforms. They're kind of hard to pick up the Weber International doubles as they're moving up and down the court so fast, Brian. And also, we just described what Weber International has on. Florida Memorial is in their traditional home white uniforms, orange numbers, blue trim on their uniforms, Brian. Go ahead with your thought.
The joys of trying to call the away team and the uniform combinations. Maybe we can get some coaches and athletic directors to be a little more considerate for us folks who have to call their game.
I think all the folks at Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, and everybody else who makes uniforms need to talk to the media people and the camera people when they design these uniforms. They look good in the magazine. They're terrible for us to try to pick up these numbers in transition fast. Ball's inbounded to water. Jump shot is good by Wendy. Weber International up by 2, approaching 3.5 minutes to remain in the first quarter. Ball's turned over by Barnett. I'm not a big fan of that pass right there, Brian. You got to go to the wing, then get it to the middle. She had the wing person open. It's kind of hard from that angle to hit somebody flying down the middle, Brian.
Well, we've seen that pass now from Weber by about 2 or 3 times now. So, I mean, maybe that's just something that they work on a lot in practice. I'm not a fan of it, but I guess if that's what you do, well, that's what you do,
Another turnover by Florida Warriors. That there, Barnett with the turnover. Got a couple of subs coming into the game. Let me see if I can catch these, Brian. Into the game now is number 1, Kayla Burrows for Weber, and can't quite see who that is in the middle. That's going to be number 4. That's Kaiser Smith. 3-point attempt. Good. Wendy.
Wide open.
3 as they extend the lead to 7, Brian.
Was there anybody defending that? Nobody was even within 5 feet of her. You can't get more wide open than that.
That's the kind of space you want on your offense, Brian, not your defense.
Exactly. And a couple things I want to go back for a second, Drew. The shot selection by Florida Memorial, not a big fan of it. They have shot right now, they're 0 for 4 from behind the arc. And I would say 3 of those shots have been from the men's 3-point range. Why? It's a little deep for me.
Gotcha. Checking into the game for Florida Memorial. Number 30, Cheyenne Whitfield for the first time today. First free throw up and good by Tolbert. Second free throw. Rebounded by Whitfield. She gets in the game, makes an immediate impact, but ball gets turned over coming down on the break. Handling the ball right now for Weber is Kayla Burrows, excuse me. Running a little dribble weave action up high. Copeland with the ball. Tough angle. Bailed out by the foul call. Foul called on number 32.
Now, again,
Agela Tyrone.
I don't, the height. I don't think you have anybody that's at a considerable height advantage in the post. So again, I question these passes that are coming from the top of the key all the way down to the post. I just don't see the good angles.
Rebound and turnover right there by Tyrone. Somebody was supposed to be in the outlet area, but they were not there. We've got more substitutions. And it looks like both coaches are trying to rotate everybody in and out early. Checking back into the game is Barnett for the Florida Memorial Lions.
And Drew, sometimes on those outlet passes, you have got to let traffic clear out. If you're not passing to somebody near you on your side, you got to let some traffic clear out before you throw that ball to a guard.
Yes, definitely.
Nice backdoor cut.
Subbing into the game for Florida Memorial, number 33, Garcia, into the game for Florida Memorial.
I don't think I've quite seen a game with this many substitutions in one quarter. I feel like I'm watching a youth Saturday rec league basketball game, considering the number of substitutions I've seen so far.
Got to get your 3 minutes in for playing purposes. Speaking of subs, Brian, here's another one into the game. Rochelle Jacob, number 32, into the game for Weber International.
Now, there's a thought, AD, when you see subs coming in like this, it's because either the tempo or you're just really not happy with people who are out on the floor. One of the two's happening.
Well, I'm going to give you a third one, Brian. This is Florida Memorial's last game before the fall break, and I believe so for Weber International also. Maybe we're just trying to make sure people get playing time to come back for the second semester, Brian. Who knows?
That's an original thought right there, Drew. And there it is. And real quick, Drew, that three-pointer is what I'm talking about. That three was pulled from the men's range. And I'm not saying that the ladies don't have that range, but it just seems a little forced. It's like, there's another one.
But that one was good by unique tape, Brian.
That'll shut me up, right?
It will, but I'm gonna echo what you have on the on these 3-point line, Brian. Both of the 3-point lines on the floor are a shade of blue, and at quick glance, you may not realize which line you're shooting from on the floor. Just saying, Brian.
Well, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, there are two different shades of blue. You can't pick them up on the screen, but you can see them live. But you're talking a royal blue versus a mid blue, Brian. So it's a little tough. Now that one, there's no question about it.
Oh, wow! What are we doing?
She hits the first one and she misses everything on her second one, Brian.
Was that a heat check? I'm not sure. Was that considered a heat check?
Not in the first quarter, Brian. Not on your second shot of the game. But obviously she has confidence to pull from that range. Great defense cutting off the baseline. Whitfield with the great defense, and now there's a trap. Whitfield and Tillman come over on the trap. We've got another held ball. No, excuse me. Weber calls a timeout. It's going to be a 30-second timeout, Brian. Let's stay right here doing this timeout right here, Brian.
Well, Drew, look, Florida Weber International is shooting just under 53% right now. 3 of 4 from the arc, okay? Now, for Florida Memorial, they are shooting just under 47% from the field, but the stat that is just glaring out at me, they are 1 of 7 from behind the arc. And if I'm not mistaken, of those 6 misses, I don't think they have gotten a rebound first off of those misses. And that's a bad stat because long shots lead to long rebounds. And as we've seen, Weber International does a great job of getting out in transition, and some of those misses have turned into transition baskets.
29.7 remain in the quarter. Got to put the ball down before you pick up your pivot foot, Brian.
That's a bad turnover. Bad turnover right there. You never want to see that turnover, specifically right out of the inbound.
Yes, you're absolutely correct, Brian. 20 seconds remain. Shot clock is off. Great drive. Chantel Barnett.
That was a nice move by Barnett. She set her defender up, went right by her left hand, and then squeezed through the 2 defenders down on the low block.
1 second. They're going to just dribble it out. And Brian, after 1 complete, Weber International 22, Florida Memorial 20. We'll be right back on the Black College Sports Network.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It was a monumental game for A&M and Tampa. It was a monumental game. Somebody had to lose, and thank God it was them this time.
We knew it was going to be a battle. Look at Jake Aves' record. 202 and 36, I think. Some off-the-wall figures.
And nobody would play him because they didn't want to take a chance of getting beat. But the truth of it is,
over 46,000 tickets. Blacks were sitting in the east stands. The whites were sitting in the west stands, and the score wound up 34-28.
The only thing we proved that we wasn't inferior, that we were not inferior, and we were not afraid.
For one night, for 160 minutes, we was better than them.
This is Brian Fulford.
We're back at the Wellness Center on the campus of Florida Memorial University. 22-20 as we open up the second quarter. Brian, what did you see in that first quarter?
What I saw is a lot of players getting a lot of minutes. 10 players, let's see, 5 players off the bench got time for Weber International. For Florida Memorial, they played 9 players, so that's 4 off the bench. I'm going to say that is very unusual in most games. And if I'm looking at my screen properly, there's a sub that's about to come in at the scores table already. So.
All right, and they had to fix the shot clock there for a second. They weren't quite sure whether there was a change of possession. Shot missed, offensive rebound. Offensive rebound by number 32, Rochelle Jacob of Weber International. Fired up from the corner, Destiny Marin. Stolen down on the other end by Marion. I don't like that, Brian. I don't like that by Barnett. She's trying to draw the foul, went up with one hand, caused her to lose control going up, which forced her to miss that layup.
Yeah, that should have been an easy basket. And then
that one right there was, Brian.
Getting caught on the weak side, no rotation on the weak side.
Yes, Michelle Jacob with that basket right there. Marion again. This time she finds it.
That's what she does. She's a shooter.
Yes, she is.
Hey, look, on 2 consecutive possessions, we've seen Florida Memorial get caught out of position. They missed a chance at a defensive rebound the last possession, and then weak side rotation. There's another offense, and see, that's 2 offensive rebounds that they've given up that have equaled scores for Weber International. You can't.
The pass is good by Small. Go ahead. Man tries to thread the needle, and the needle would not go through. It's still going to be Florida Memorial basketball. Checking into the game for Florida Memorial, Barnett replaces Tate.
Weber has 6 offensive rebounds in the game thus far, equaling 9 second chance points.
Great dribble drive.
Good job.
Number 33, Garcia. Well, Boy pulls within 3 points. Just under 8 minutes remain in the second quarter there, Brian. And just like that, we're going right back up to 5 points. Wandick again with another 3-point attempt. That foul probably saved 2 points right there by Barnett, Brian, after the turnover.
Good foul indeed. And Wandick for Weber International with 13 points right now, 5 of 7 shooting. I mean, she is so efficient right now. It's really scary. And somehow FMU is going to have to find a way to stay a little bit closer to her and not get lost.
Tillman replaces Barnett on the floor for Florida Memorial. Once again, another offensive rebound for Weber International, which leads to a second chance point. This time, 3 of them by Copeland.
Florida Memorial has to get that figured out. It's killing them right now. More than anything else right now, the lack of rebounding and the second points right now is absolutely killing them right now.
Just that quick, Brian. Weber's up by 9 over the Lions.
Let's see if they can find a way to get Tolbert involved. I know she's got the ball, but let's see if they can get her going.
Foul called right there.
On cue. Give it to the conference player of the week when you need a bucket.
Hey, got to find somebody to put it in the hole for you. First shot is up and rolls around and finally goes in, Brian. Talk about using the entire circle right there, Brian. Second one's up and good also.
That's a tough call.
That's a tough call. Thought the defender was vertical. Beat her to the spot, but in the eyes of the referee, she didn't. So we're going to be at the line for 2. Shooting for Weber.
Well, Drew, when you say beat
Franklin. I'm sorry.
I always like to think beating someone to the spot, meaning get in front of them to stop them from driving, and that is not what Durand did on that particular play.
Getting in front or getting between them and the basket. And it's small, but there is a little bit of a difference.
That's a forced shot. How many – did the ball move? I mean, right now, Florida Memorial has got to find a way to keep the ball moving. That was a dribble drive, pull-up, jump shot. No ball movement whatsoever.
Yes. Well, sometimes when you have a conference player of the week or a player of the year, sometimes you get into the Jordan, James, mystique and just clear it out and watch them go. And speaking of going, Jabari Tillman for 3. Great defense right there by Tillman. Once again, another offensive rebound for Weber.
And it's going to lead to more points, assuming that they make free throws.
Yes. Not only that, Brian, but that was the – oh, that's only the 3rd. I'm sorry. I lost count there. I thought that was the 4th team foul, which means we would have been shooting for the rest of the half, but no, it was only 3 team fouls. Brian, defensive rotations have been the key for Florida Memorial, or lack thereof.
Well, I would also say there is something to when you hear people say box out, what you really mean is put a body on the other person, because I have not seen good box outs by actually establishing contact by Florida Memorial. I mean, yes, they're standing right next to the other person, but they're not moving anybody.
And when the one-on-one is not working for them, they're forcing bad shots to top it off, Brian. Right, now that was a box out, Brian.
I still think she just happened to be in the right position on that one.
Got to move your feet to be in the right position, and she did that. Going to the line for Florida Memorial. Number 10, Jabari Tillman, as the foul was called on number 23, Aaliyah Jones. Excuse me, check that. Foul was on number 25, Deja Warnick. Florida Memorial has got to get these 2 free throws. Florida Memorial got a media timeout coming up real soon, Brian. Florida Warriors needs to go on a bit of a run going into this media timeout. Don't you agree with me on that, Brian?
If not a run, they need to put together a couple of defensive stops.
There's that free throw fast break, Brian.
Man, do we even at some point you stop even letting people know or even talking about it? Another offensive rebound leads to another 2 points.
And Brian, I wish I could rewind the tape. How many points have they scored off of Florida Warriors free throws rather than that sideline break after the free throws, Brian? I got to say that's like the third opportunity that they've scored in this game, Brian.
Well, they've only got 2 fast break points, but it's really the points off the turnover.
But just like that right there, Brian, the free throws don't count as fast break points, but it came off of that free throw fast break. Going back to the line is Tolbert for 2. First one up and good. Let's see what they run off of this free throw fast break, Brian. We know they're gonna run some type of transition play off of this. And let's see if Florida Memorial has picked up on it and gets back. That's one way to stop it, by putting pressure on the person rebounding there, Brian.
Yeah, and I think Florida Memorial tried to go into either a 2-2-1 or 1-2-1 to kind of slow that transition down.
You may have slowed that transition down, but you did not slow that down right there. Franklin drives to the hole for another 2. To Marin. Franklin again. It was on the break. She has 2 options. Goes to her left. Score it. The Warriors trying to wait for the media timeout, which will come on the next dead ball, but I guarantee you, if they go down and have another empty trip at a Weber basket, they're going to call that timeout.
One dribble pull up, one dribble pass shot. That's all we've seen mostly, and then we've seen transition going on the other end.
Well, they get their timeout, Brian, and so we're going to take one right here, Brian. 4:25 remain in the second quarter. Weber International 44, Florida Memorial 32, right here on the Black College Sports Network.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
We are back. For the first time in 62 years, the Florida Memorial Lions will hit the gridiron. And their home games will be streamed by the Black College Sports Network at www.fmuathletics.com, www.mybcsn.net, and on the MyBCSN app, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted.
We're back here in Miami Gardens on the campus of Florida Memorial University. Florida Memorial trails by 12. That tied myself up a little bit on that one, Brian. You want to take that one over? Trails by 12?
Which happens to be the largest lead of the game that Weber International's had. One of the things I was looking at, I was trying to remember the last time Florida Memorial was close or even led this game, and it was all the way back at 6-5 in the first quarter. So Florida Memorial has been playing from behind for most of this game.
As they try to defend their home court. You know something, Brian?
That was nasty.
That's just good shooting. That's just good shooting. Copeland for 3. But the defense, you can't really blame the defense on that one, Brian.
No, I mean, if you're shooting like that, that means you got to get up a lot closer than one arm length.
Yeah, you almost got to get up into her, ask her what she had for lunch. Foul called on Women International. That was on number 30. That's going to be Paulette Burke. That's her third. So third for the role player coming off the bench, checking into the game for Rochelle Jacob.
And Drew, I would say with the Lions being down 15 and we're under 4 to play, you want to get this to single digits by halftime. Even if it's 9 or 8, I think getting to single digits by halftime is a win. Nice steal.
That's why she's the player of the year. Oh, let's hope that it's just a slip. Let's hope we didn't blow anything out on that one. You know, good. She gets up. Looks like she's just walking it out. Her body zigged, but her left foot zagged, and she just went down there, Brian. Thank God she's okay. Nobody was hurt on that play.
I think they'll take the turnover and a healthy player. And there's that 2-2-1 I mentioned earlier.
Oh, almost turned it over right there. In the corner, three-point attempt. Another three-point attempt.
2 offensive rebounds for that possession.
And you probably got the 4 shots that you wanted to for the first 2 possessions, but you got to clear the boards, Brian. Great look. Got to have your hands ready. Got to have your hands ready.
Well, that was a bad.
We're going to charge that turn over to Tyrone on that one, Brian. You said that was a bad pass?
No, I think Tolbert didn't really. I mean, Tolbert, did she give her an opportunity to catch the ball? I mean, she threw it. But I mean, was it a?
It was a little zip on it. It was a little zip on it, but you still got to have you have to expect that pass, Brian.
It looked like a tough game for that pass with such a short distance.
Yeah. Memorial in a 2-3 zone for the first time today, Brian. See if they look to trap in the corners. Almost defeats the purpose of getting the turnover when you turn it right back over, Brian.
Right. I was going to say, they did give that last turnover to Tolbert, so.
Great inside. Hey, we finally got a stop there, Brian.
Finally got a good box out. Let's see what happens. Good box outs lead to good stops.
But dribble drives have not led to great shots, and then when they get back on defense, this Weber team loves to run.
Yes, they do.
Maybe that's why he played so many players in the first quarter, Brian. Yeah, this Weber team is just fresher than Florida Memorial right now.
Yeah, they do a great job in transition right now.
Yeah. And we're going to be shooting the rest of the quarter, Brian. Go ahead with your thought.
When you're dealing with a team that's running in transition like this, you've got to be prepared to get back. More people have to get back. And on that last possession, when the ball or the ball handler can get by 3 of your 5 players, that's not a good sign.
Checking into the game for Florida Memorial, unique take. Also into the game for the first time today, Janae Marks for Florida Memorial.
I still maintain 151 to go. You know, can Florida Memorial get it to 10? You know, at this point, you're almost down.
I would settle for 15 for right now and work on 10 after the third quarter.
Wow, okay.
As you trail by 18 points. Unforced error right there.
You just need a couple stops.
The travel call.
I still say 10 is realistic.
Yes.
It should be the goal. Put it like that. It should be the goal.
Yes, 10 is the goal. I'll settle for 15 right now, Brian.
Wow.
Because you have a whole other half, Brian, to knock it some more. If we were talking about third quarter to the fourth quarter, you're absolutely right. We got to get it to 10.
This is the most ball movement I think I've seen in the half-court set by Florida Memorial, and as soon as I say that, there's a turnover.
Yep, we're going to be going to the line on the other end. That foul is charged to Garcia. Her first personal. We're in the bonus for the rest of the half for both teams, Brian.
You know, Florida Memorial has only committed 9 turnovers. That's not the reason they're down by nearly 20 points, though.
Second free throw is off. Rebound by Marks. What's hurting Florida Memorial is offensive rebounds. Florida Memorial is one and done, whereas Weber is getting 2 and 3 shots every time at the basket. And on cue, here's another offensive rebound, Brian.
My goodness. Yeah, I know Coach Stanback is this is a break the clipboard halftime speech coming up, I'm sure.
Nice Memorial fouling with the basket. Under 30 seconds to go in the half there, Brian.
Well, your goal of 15 is possible if they can get a stop and a bucket.
I see this. Well, they will have time remaining on the shot clock after this possession, unless they give up an offensive rebound. I think that ball actually touched the bottom of the rim.
On the outside. I thought you were going to say the bottom of the net. It did touch the bottom of the net, just on the outside of the rim, though.
Yeah, I thought it scraped the bottom of the rim, but hey, you get dead ball possession. I think that's probably even better for them. See if we get into 15, 14 on the make. No, and that's the first half. Weber International 52, Florida Memorial 35. We'll be back after a brief intermission as we prepare for the second half. Black College.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
I am one of those people that are uniquely able to speak to why Florida Memorial is so important.
When we rebirthed football, that's when it really began to take fire. When we said that we were going to start playing football in fall of 2020, things started to happen.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, I was building on the...
It's an honor to be here on campus with you guys. The Super Bowl down here in Miami.
Super Bowl weekend, man. We out here.
Your dreams are talking one shot for the kill, the breeze.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It was a monumental game for A&M and Tampa. It was a monumental game. Somebody had to lose, and thank God it was them this time.
We knew it was going to be a battle. Look at Jake Aves' record. 202 and 36, I think. Some off-the-wall figures.
And nobody would play him because they didn't want to take a chance of getting beat. But the truth of it is,
over 46,000 tickets. Blacks were sitting in the east stands. The whites were sitting in the west stands, and the score wound up 34-28.
The only thing we proved that we wasn't inferior, that we were not inferior, and we were not afraid.
For one night, for 160 minutes, we was better than them.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
We are back.
YT Productions.
Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavill, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop.
Of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for the show, covering all things institutions, large and small, from NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavill, along with my co-hosts Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KSUH 1230 AM studios with Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. Get used to hearing that Hall of Famer status. We'll have another one on the show today as well. Mike Washington, as you see, you're not seeing him on the screen as he's off on vacation. I don't know what you want to call it. I guess he's continuing his break, Turkey Day break. Somebody get to have extended Thanksgiving break. What kind of life is this? But on a serious note, he's taking care of business. But we're gonna always throw him under the bus and give him some love with that. But we'll make him proud, as you know we will, in terms of what's going on. But as we continue to get it on, we're going to jump right into it because today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is sponsored by THG Agency. THG Agency is a company that provides sporting and educational consulting and data analytics. Today's show will be a good one as we will be discussing the latest in HBCU sports. Later, we will talk about sports history and take a deep dive a little bit. We're going to go in with coach and SWAC basketball team as well as SIAC, talk about that information, CIAA, MEAC, independent programs. As we have got sports back in the house, we got women's and men's basketball. They're actually playing. So we'll talk about that to some upcoming basketball season. And now we're really in the thralls of it. Upcoming conference play, we'll see where that may go. Former Alabama A&M University basketball coach, Hall of Famer, and historian, as I'm giving his new title, obviously legendary Coach Van Pettaway, as I like to still talk in reference to him. He'll be on the show later. With that, let's jump in here as we do at this time. We'll look at some HBCU news of the day, but that's showed out for the people a little bit. We want to show them love after a great holiday break. What news do you have in the HBCU sports world that you want to share with the people?
Tremendous amount of news to get to today, Dr. DeVille. You touched on it, 12, 1, 20. If you see Kay Johnson, if you see Maya Jenkins, if you see Wendy Jenkins Bishop, they smile a little brighter today because today was the official start of the prime time era at Jackson State University. So shout out to the Jackson State fans. They're very excited in terms of Coach Prime coming to thee I love. So shout out to the Jackson State fans. Kay Johnson, I see you out there. Let's get to some other news. Southern, Carrick Johnson, he resigns as head baseball coach to take a position with Major League Baseball. So that's a huge blow in terms of Carrick Jackson leaving Southern baseball. Of course, he put them back on the map in terms of getting back in the championship swing of things that Southern baseball, a blue blood program within the HBCU ranks. And Carrick Jackson, he will be moving on to accept a position with Major League Baseball, Dr. Bill.
Man, that is some big time news. Man, that's a tough one. Obviously, not just for Southern University, but for the SWAC. I mean, we talked about one of the surprise that we thought that you really want to look at with FAMU Bethune-Cookman coming to the SWAC is what it would do for baseball. He revitalized that Southern program. It did dip down. It's one of the rich programs in this conference across HBCU sports under Coach Kadar, legendary coach, got it done. Then you go back to Lou Brock when they're the only HBCU that's won a national championship. Was at the NAIA level. Obviously, want to throw some love to Grambling. They played for 2 championships, but Southern got it done on the diamond. They brought home the trophy officially. Got it done in a lot of ways. So give him a lot of love about that. It's going to be interesting to see what moves they make in terms of that. Will they go back outside the program to try to make a hire? Will they stick with, Kadar has had a lot of players that have groomed and stayed in the coaching realm. So does any of his players get a shot? Where a coach come over, where a coach think greener pastures that has some success, where they try to move over to Southern. So I'm very interested to see what that looks like in terms of what's going on there. So great point you made. Before we get into our first interview with Coach Pettaway, the Hall of Famer, legendary coach there, and we'll allow him to share some history. I got a surprise for him. I'm going to see if I can make him laugh a little bit, stun him with one. But, he's so good about it, he probably already know. Just gonna chuckle. But what else you got out there before we get into it? Any other big news you want to share?
Sure thing. Let's turn our attention to the MEAC as they announced their weekly men's basketball honors today at North Carolina Central. Red shirt senior guard C.J. Kaiser is the first MEAC men's basketball player of the week for the 2021 season, presented by Coca-Cola. And meanwhile, Anthony Tark of Coppin State and J.J. Matthews of Norfolk State are co-defensive players of the week. Let's take a look at C.J. Kaiser real quick. The 6'3" senior from Baltimore, Maryland. He had impressive showings and leading the Eagles with career highs, 33 points and 2 steals and 1 block shot and 1 assist in the 85-78 win over Southern last Thursday. A day earlier, he netted 15 points in a loss to number 5 Iowa. When we take a look at Tart, the 6'6" redshirt senior from Gaithersburg, Maryland. He had a team-high 9 rebounds, 2 block shots, and 5 steals as North Carolina Central Eagles gave Coppin State gave Duke a scare before falling 81-71 on Thanksgiving Day in Durham. And Matthews had a 18-point, 11-rebound double-double in Norfolk State's 83-73 victory over James Madison, a contest in which he had 2 steals, 2 blocks. And for the week, that saw the Spartans defeat Radford. Matthews averaged 10.7 rebounds, 1.5 block shots, and 1 steal. So kudos to those players in the MEAC.
No doubt about it. Great news there. With that, as you talk about the MEAC, I'm going to jump in here and give some facts and show out a little bit of basketball. My favorite matchup last week, obviously the MEAC had 3 Division I wins, 2 by Norfolk State, 2 of them against what I refer to as historic White College University. Obviously, the other win that we just talked about, North Carolina Central. We got Coach in here. Come on in here, Coach. We got you ready. You smile a little bit. I know you ready. Get comfortable. You in the lab, baby. It goes down in the lab now. SWAC men's program have 3 Division I wins, Prairie View A&M, Alabama A&M. That's your Bulldogs there. You can smile again, Coach. Texas Southern University got a win just last night. Then you talk about on the women's side, you had 3 Division I wins by North Carolina Central, Morgan State. UMBC was who Morgan State women defeated. Interesting there, that UMBC is coached by Janetta Hayes Perry. She recently left Texas Southern University for that job over there in the rebuilding, just to tie in and let you know. See, Coach Petaway, I do my homework. You know that, Coach. You
yeah. You on top of it. You on top of it.
You brought me in your office down there and say, look, man, I'm going to work with you. We're going to make this tournament work, boy. And I owe you. Look where I am now. With that tutelage. And so you were tutelage people not only on the court, but off the court. So I appreciate you. Howard University had the other win. SWAC women have 2 wins. Arkansas Pine Bluff. They play tonight.
Coach Don Brown.
Central Arkansas. So Alabama A&M women, as I said, those are the only 2 programs where you got Division I wins, both out of the MEAC and SWAC, both on men's and women's. North Carolina Central, both men's and women's got a win. And then you got Alabama A&M out of the
Women International 52, Florida Memorial 35 as we get ready to begin the 3rd quarter. Your leading scorer for Women International with 14 points, Deja Warnick. Also with double digits for Women International with 11 points is Paris Copeland and Amaya Small. For Florida Memorial, Kiana Tolbert with 10 points, Jamari Tillman with 9, Chantel Barnett with 6. Your leading rebounder, 6 apiece for Deja Warnick and Amaya Small for Women International. For the Memorial, Chantel Barnett, Angela Tyrone, and Giselle Garcia each have 2 rebounds. Paris Copeland halfway to double digits in assists. She has 5 for Women International. As we get ready to open up the 3rd quarter, Women International Florida Memorial will have the ball to open up the 3rd quarter. They go get the ball to Conference Player of the Week. On the drive, Kiana Tolbert tries to take over early in the 3rd quarter with the dribble drive and the score. Foul called on number 24, Amaya Small, as Tolbert goes to the line for the old-fashioned 3-point play. First free throw is up. Free throws up and rebounded. 15 Warnick. Franklin pounds the ball into the court, trying to get Women International into a set. 3-point attempt up and good. There's a Warnick. Foul called. That's going to be on Franklin. That is her first. That is the second team foul of the quarter. Almost turnover, and it is. Ball turned over by Florida Warrior. Dribble drive and score. Perez Copeland. Another turnover, no. Ball goes out. Oh, yes, it is a turnover. They say the ball deflected off of number 1, Chantel Barnett. Great play there by Leandra Franklin to make sure the ball deflected off of the Lady Lions of Florida Memorial. Florida Memorial just can't get it going in this game here on this early start Saturday. Ball stolen by Tillman on the break. She has one in the corner, decides to take it herself. Should have kicked it off. She had one over there in the right-hand corner. Franklin slows the ball down. Gets Weber into their set. Just under 9 minutes remain in the game. Ball out of bounds. It's going to remain Weber International basketball. Turnover. Ooh, they called the kick ball. They get a fresh 20 with the kick ball call right there. Great backdoor cut. Another offensive rebound for Weber and the foul. Foul charge should be Barnett on that foul. Yes, it is. Barnett, that's her second personal foul. Checking into the game, number 3, Micah Cooper for the Lady Lions of Florida Memorial University. Weber at the line for 2. First one is no good. Weber has extended their lead to 20 here early in the third quarter. Second free throw is up. Another offensive rebound for Weber International. That is, count on their 18th offensive rebound in this game to go along with 18 defensive rebounds. Turnover is still. Marion on the break. Gives it up to Tillman. Tillman tries to get Florida Memorial back into this game, and she scores 2 right there on the break. Toba tried to do a little bit too much instead of moving her feet and staying in front of the defender. She tried the old schoolyard, reach for behind and slap the ball away, and it did not work. $15 seconds remain on the shot clock. Weber's running a little bit of a flex action right there. Jump shot up and good. Number 22, Thaler Jackson. And Jackson commits the foul down on the other end. Excuse me, Thaler Jackson. That is her third personal foul. That's the third team foul of the quarter. 3-point attempt. Up and good. That 3-pointer by Durant. Taylor Durant right there. It's like we're going to have a sloppy third quarter. Neither team is able to get into the rhythm. We'll have a whistle after foul, after turnover here early in the third quarter as Florida Memorial tries to climb slowly back into this game. At the line for 2 for Weber International, Leandra Franklin. As we wait on the towel person the mop person to get the lane clear. What have you seen going on here in this early sloppy third quarter there, Brian?
Well, Drew, the glaring stat for me right now, 6 rebounds to nothing. And
make that 7, Brian.
I mean, I don't – this is very odd. This is not the Florida Memorial team that we have seen play at all this season. I can't make heads and tails of what we're seeing as it relates to the rebounding right now.
Dribble drive by Cooper. She was no good. If Weber scores on this possession, you got to get a timeout there, Brian. Big bucket. Big bucket. Assist to Tolbert right there. Marion with the 3. Is that going to be the spark, Brian?
Hopefully so. If that'll inspire some people on the defensive end and then around that paint area, then hopefully so.
Take your time, run your secondary. Nothing there. Great look. Oh! And what did she not do on that, Brian? She did not use the glass.
Well, she was in an awkward position. She was at the front of the rim, and usually when you go to the front of the rim, you got to be prepared to lay it up over the front of the rim. And I don't know whether she just shot that ball or tried to float it. It seemed like an awkward combination of both.
And there's that timeout I was talking about, Brian. We're going to take one right here also. Florida Memorial, Weber 64, Florida Memorial 44. You're watching the Florida Memorial basketball right here on the Black College Sports Network.
We are back. For the first time in 62 years, the Florida Memorial Lions will hit the gridiron, and their home games will be streamed by the Black College Sports Network at www.fmuathletics.com, www.mybcsn.net, and on the MyBCSN app, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
Copeland working on the triple-double. I'm going to lead out with that.
All right.
All right, we're back to live action. Hey, Brian, looking at these stats here through the mid-third quarter, Paris Copeland for Women in National is quietly working on the triple-double. She already has the points with 13. She has 7 rebounds and 6 assists, Brian. So Florida Boys got to do something to slow this young lady down.
Well, she's her usual efficient self.
Another steal by Memorial.
Gotta finish those.
Hard off the glass. Hey, guess what? We got an offensive rebound.
Yeah, but that's a bad miss. Look at the transition and the numbers.
Cleared the board that time. Tillman over to Tolbert. And we got a foul on that call. Foul's going to be against Florida Memorial. And we've got another timeout here on the floor, Brian. We're going to take another quick break. Weber 64, Florida Memorial 46. You're watching Florida Memorial basketball right here on the Black College Sports Network.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including
4:44 remain in the third quarter. Your Florida Memorial Lions down by 20 points here. Brian, what are you seeing over there on that stat line?
Well, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, Drew, but right now the rebounding, it's a 3-1 advantage or disadvantage, I guess you could say. That's the margin right now, as you know, almost a 3-1, I should say. Florida Memorial being out rebounded.
Ooh, excuse me, not to cut you off there, Brian, but got caught there in a awkward position. Oh, referee overturned the call. So Lions do retain possession. I'm sorry. Go ahead with your thought there, Brian.
Well, on the season, Florida Memorial has been out rebounded by almost an average of 6.6 a game. Right now, we're talking at least 42-17, just overall rebounds.
Great dribble drive there by Tyrone, but rim in and out.
Oh, and you know,
foul on the play. Foul charge with number 1, Chantel Barnett. And looks like we're going to be shooting on the other end. Continue on there, Brian.
Well, no, I like I said, anybody who might be watching or listening to us, if you're tired of us talking about the rebounding, look, we're tired of that being the glaring stat. I mean, look, we can talk about the transition, but right now the biggest problem is the rebounding. I don't know if it'll get fixed in time for them to get back in this ball game, but if Florida Memorial wants to get back in this ball game, which I know the coaches do, and I would like to think the players do, then right now the rebounding it's got to change. Like, there's another one, and it's positioning on that play right there. The young lady, I can't.
Rochelle Jacob missed both of those free throws. Amaya Small came up with the rebound there, Brian.
But if you're standing next to Small, who averages a double-double almost, you've got to, instead of going for the ball, you got to put a body on her first. You got to box out and step into her.
Man for 3. Rebound by Copeland. Continue on.
No, you're good.
Pounding the ball into the ground there is Copeland. And here's the thing, Brian. Florida Warriors winning the turnover battle, but those turnovers are not turning into points right now, Brian.
Right. The points off turnovers. Florida Memorial has only scored 10 points off those turnovers. Weber has scored 15 off of
fewer turnovers.
Yeah.
Weber 15 points off 11 turnovers. Florida Memorial 10 points off of 15 turnovers. Shot clock violation.
I think that might be a first. As quickly as Weber International has been scoring and getting the ball up the floor, I think that's their first shot clock violation that I recall.
I think that's the first time that the clock has even been under 5 with them with the ball in their hands, Brian.
Exactly. I'm not sure what Marin was doing on that play. She's dribbling right. Now, if that was supposed to be a dribble handoff, then her teammate in the corner has got to move to take her defender. But Marin, she kind of got to a position where literally she almost handed the ball off to the defender. I mean, the defender didn't have to do any work on that steal.
And when you say has to move, the person who's supposed to be receiving the handoff has to jab like they're going back door, then come and receive the handoff. You just can't run and receive the handoff straight because it's easy to play that way.
And unfortunately, that player in the corner, she didn't even move. I mean, I'm not sure whether she thought that the play was coming to her.
Once again, one person zig while the other person zag, Brian.
Yeah.
Tobin is definitely trying to take this game over, but they're not going to give her the opportunity to take this game over. You got a lot of one-on-one play going right now. They're trying to drive and kick. Another forced shot up against the shot clock. Small with the rebound. Small with the jump shot. Rebound. Tate. Tillman. Foul called. That foul's going to be on. I believe that's going to be on Small there. Yes, it is on Small, Brian.
Now, Drew, I will say the one thing, if you're watching this game, here's something to consider. Florida Memorial has not played a live game. I mean, a game, with real bullets since November 21st.
I like that, real bullets.
That's two. I mean, they had a scrimmage scheduled against Florida Gulf Coast back on, I believe it was Christmas Day. Or no,
Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving Day, thank you. But we're talking, that's a week and a half ago. And so when you're hot, and obviously they were on a nice streak right heading into Thanksgiving, and when you have 10 days off, practice is practice, and maybe they've had some good practices, but
Whitfield makes both. Continue on. Oh, that's a steal. Oh, try to do a bit too much. Tillman with the steal and subsequent turnover. Continue on with that. Those BBs instead of those bullets that you were talking about there, Brian.
Well, look, overall, what I was trying to get to was just the fact that playing games the way the schedule usually goes keeps you fresh. And sometimes when you have 10 days off, your first game back is rusty. And so that could be what we're looking at. We're looking at one team that's been off or has not played a game in 10 days. We're looking at another team that just lost their first game of the season about 3 days ago.
Right. And unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of that this year with starts and stops and just schedules being all jumbled up. And Florida Memorial finally gets some fast break points. Scoring on that was Tyrone with the assist from Tillman on their play.
Well, it's a 15-point game, and here's where we talked about earlier, Drew. Can they get it to 10 by the end of the third quarter? If you get it to 10, realistically, you're back in this ball game.
Yes, and then your next goal is 5 by the 5-minute mark in the fourth quarter. At the line, shooting the bonus. Looks like that's number 1, Carla Burrows. First one is up and good.
Pay attention to the rebounding down on the block.
Oh, well.
Wow.
I mean, that was Florida Memorial had the offensive rebound. They fumbled the ball. Oh, they called the offensive foul. They called it with the clear out. Florida Memorial got lucky on that one right there. They called the foul against Rochelle Jacob right there on that play, Brian.
That's what you might yell, or the crowd or the bench might yell weight room. When you get the ball snatched like that, yeah, that's just strength.
Got another foul going to the line for Memorial. And Brian, this is where Florida Memorial could get back into the game quickly at the free throw line, because you get an opportunity to score without time coming off the clock, Brian.
Doesn't get any more basic than that.
As our friend Rick Colton used to call it, what's that, Brian? Free 99. Offensive rebound. Hey, Brian, guess what? We're down to 13 points, Brian. 123 remain. Let's see. We've got a 30-second timeout. Let's keep it right here, Brian. 123 remain in the third quarter. They've cut it down to 13. What are you telling them in the huddle over there, Coach Brian?
Florida
Memorial, first of all.
Well, Florida Memorial, you're continually talking to your ladies about defending in the post, guarding those outside shooters, recognizing who's on the floor. I mean, right now, Florida Memorial, you've got Wandick, she's got 17. That's probably the lead player or the player that you most have to be concerned about because there are 3 bench players in the ball game for Weber. But, you know, if you've got everybody has to box out and everybody has to rebound. And of course, when we say box out, we mean put a body on somebody.
Got backcourt pressure. Just got it across before the 10-second violation, Brian. And we got a traveling call. You know, Brian, Florida War can cut it to 10 on this possession right here.
You know what? This not to bring up, you know, sore feelings, but this is it could potentially start to look like what we saw the last game that we broadcast against St. Thomas.
Except the script is flipped.
Yeah, where, you know, you had a big lead. And it's tough. I think it is very tough holding on to a 20-point lead because you get comfortable, you get relaxed.
And Brian, speaking of holding on to a lead, Florida Memorial just had 3 starters just check back into the game. Excuse me. Weber International just had 3 starters check back into the game.
Well, that's a smart play by their coach, recognizing that they got a little too close for comfort, and then 2 bad shots get put up by Florida Memorial when that was the possession that they needed to take care of, and they caught a break on the turnover, but that was the possession that they really needed to take care of the ball.
This is probably one of the biggest possessions of the game thus far, right here, Brian. A Memorial basket gives them the momentum going into the fourth quarter. I think you tried the schoolyard move your favorite player, Reggie Miller, there, Brian.
Well, if you're going to shoot it, you got to make it. I guess that would be that would be what I would say. But I could look over and see on the sideline, and I know exactly what Coach Stanback was saying when that shot went up. I'm not even going to repeat it, but I know what he just said.
And for those who don't know, Brian Fulford is from Indianapolis, Indiana, and that's where the Reggie Miller reference came from. 3 seconds remain, 2 seconds. Can they get a shot off? No, that's no good. Your score after 3, Weber International 66. Florida Memorial 53. You're watching the Lady Lions basketball right here on the Black College Sports Network.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It was a monumental game for A&M and Tampa. It was a monumental game. Somebody had to lose, and thank God it was them this time.
We knew it was going to be a battle. Look at Jake Aves' record. 202 and 36, I think. Some off-the-wall figures.
And nobody would play him because they didn't want to take a chance of getting beat. But the truth of it is,
over 46,000 tickets. Blacks were sitting in the east stands. Whites were sitting in the west stands. And the score wound up 34-28.
The only thing we proved that we.
As we begin the fourth quarter, the Lady Lions trail by 3 points right here at Miami Gardens. Kiana Tolbert for the Florida Memorial Lions is right on her pace that she's been putting up this year. She's got 15 through 3, puts her on pace for 20. But Brian, tell us about what's going on over there with Weber International.
Well, Weber's getting production from their big three. Copeland, Wandick, and Small. I mean, all three of them are on the verge of probably getting a double-double if they continue on at the pace that they're on.
They've already got the points, all three of them.
Correct. They've got the points. Copeland 13, Wandick 17, Small with 16. All of them have almost Copeland and Wandick have 9 rebounds each. Small has 8. And so, you know, double-doubles are just right around the corner for all three of them. And then the question, you know, Wandick, Copeland's got 6 assists. So we'll see. Can Florida Memorial slow those three down? If they can have any success slowing those three down, they can have some success in this fourth quarter. And 13 is not too large of a lead to overcome or deficit to overcome.
And Tillman goes to the line for 2 free throws right here.
And this is, as you said earlier, this is where the game is going to get won. If you're going to get back in the game, it's going to come right here at the line where you get a chance to get free baskets with the clock stopped.
Tillman has that first free throw up and good. Waddick with the foul there. Offensive rebound by Memorial this time. Oh, thought we were going to get some butter on that roll right there, Brian. That roll came up a little dry as it rimmed out.
How big would that play have been? If that ball decides it wants to go in, you get possibly a chance for a 3-point, which really would have been a
4-point opportunity.
Yes, 4-point swing with practically no time going off the clock. But hey, these free throws can make it 10 right here.
First one up and good by Cheyenne Whitfield. Second attempt. 10 points, Brian. 9:26 remain in the ball game. Franklin clears it out. She says she's going to get it. Backcourt pressure by Tillman. Waves the screen off. Great defense, great backdoor cut. Here's the turnover. Pass, great hustle by the player of the week. Big shot. Kiana Tolbert from the corner.
How about the present to save that ball, because that was almost a throwaway possession, but they managed to save the ball and hit a big shot.
Now it looks like everything is going the way of Florida Memorial. Great pass up ahead. Oh, good hustle by both players there. Good hustle by both players. Ball goes out of bounds off of Franklin.
Players, can we please pass the ball up ahead on the sideline and give a better post-entry pass? Please, players, come on.
This public services announcement is brought to you by Coach Brian Fulford of the Black College Sports Network.
Oh, man.
Drive, kick out to the corner. Stay right here.
Hey,
fresh 20 on the clock.
Whitfield's doing a great job down there on the clock. He's really added the activity that has been needed and missed throughout the early first half of this game.
Yeah, great in-game adjustment there, Brian. Whitfield up high. You better go out there and check her. Turnover by Tolbert. Ball's picked up by Jacob.
The ball needed to move. I know Tolbert wants to make that shot and wants to score the point, but the ball has got to move on that possession offensively. Make the defense work. Make Weber work.
Well, we got another turnover.
Got numbers. They got numbers if they can do it right.
Ball's out of bounds.
The ball never got into the middle of the floor, Drew. Whenever you have a 3-on-2 break, just imagine if that ball would have hit the middle, Durand would have got it back. If she would have just put one pass to the middle, she would have got that ball back and been able to finish that bucket.
Is that thing we call fundamental basketball, Brian?
Well, just being able to be aware of running the transition break properly. There's a big basket.
Brian, count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-point lead. 7:24 remain in the game, Brian. Where have we seen this before? Rebound by Whitfield. Tolbert on the break, leads the break. Great jump stop. Cuts it down to 3, Brian. You got to get a timeout. 7:08 remain. It's going to be a full timeout. Florida Memorial has cut the lead to 3 points as we go into this break. You're watching Florida Memorial basketball right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Back to live action. 7:08 remain in the ball game. Weber 66, Florida Memorial 63. Brian, where have we seen this at before?
We have seen this before when Florida Memorial opened the season against St. Thomas. They had a 15-point lead with about 8 minutes or under 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and they ended up losing that game. And here we are, Weber International had a 13-point lead at the start of this fourth quarter, and now here comes Florida Memorial. Florida Memorial's on a 10-0 run, Drew, right now to start this quarter.
Hell ball, possession remains with Weber International, but there are only 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Just got to play good defense without fouling right here, Brian. Ball remains with Weber. Now 5 seconds remain on the shot clock, Brian. You got to come up with probably one of your best out-of-bounds plays right here if you're Weber International. And subs coming into the game for Florida Memorial. Checking into the game. Whitfield replaces Marion. A little bit of offense defense, I think, right here, Brian. Into the corner. Hey, chill drop. That's a tough shot right there, Brian. Now, here's the question. Does Tolbert try to take this game over, or does she continue to trust her teammates, Brian?
Got to trust the teammates. Trust the teammates who flip the ball. And what?
Old-fashioned three-point play opportunity right there. Heather Durand, offensive rebound, missed it, got her offensive rebound again, and put it back up that time. Foul is called on number 32. That's going to be Rochelle Jacob. That is her second personal. Brian, this free throw can cut it to one single bucket, Ryan.
Well, yeah, we're already at a one, but as they say, we're already at a one possession game.
Yes.
Good to see Duran having some success. She's got a good game.
Free throw up and good by Duran, 6:18 remain in the ball game. Florida Memorial down by 2 points. Once again, Franklin's going to clear it out. That's what she does, what a point guard does. Over to Tillman. Excuse me. That was Copeland. Turnover by Talbert.
Well, that's a good foul. You can't give up the free basket, and hopefully that foul, you commit that foul, and you hope that your opponent doesn't get the and one and maybe still miss a couple of free throws. But
what I'm more impressed by with that, Brian, was the ball movement. Basically, the give and go on the fast break, which is what you teach. Make that defender move and have to commit one way.
Right. So far, Florida Memorial outscoring Weber 13-3 in the quarter.
First free throw was up and good. Second free throw, up and good. Also got a throw coming into the game for Memorial. Checking into the game is Chantel Barnett. Oh, dangerous pass. Durant bailed her out. Great drive. Durant is hot this quarter, Brian.
Durant has a great two-pack game, and it's good to see her finally breaking out a little bit.
That was a little bit of Olay defense right there, Brian.
Somebody's got to slide over and stop the ball.
Got in a little bit too deep right there with Tillman.
But where is she going? Where is Tillman going? That's the kind of play that's got to frustrate you.
Give it up. Get it back. With a better pass. On the line. Foot's on the line.
Doesn't matter. She's on fire. She's got a red dot right below her feet. She's get out the way.
Brian, back when I played ball, that long 2-point shot got you on the bench. Coach always told me, know where you are on the floor. Oh, she caught a jump ball right there. That's going to be Florida Memorial basketball.
Hey, Drew, your coach back in the day, you got fussed out by the crowd. I'm talking about a player who just has made your last the last 6 points. No way to pull that player off the floor.
I'm just telling you what I was back on the basketball team that I played for. You bet not have it for me. Old school. Bobby Knight was a saint compared to my basketball coach. Kick out in the corner for 3. No. Tolbert with the offensive rebound.
Ball to Durant.
They're gonna say it was a common foul. They're gonna put it on baseline, but we are in the bonus, Brian. So Tolbert will actually go to the line with the opportunity to tie this game up.
Drew, this is where players have to recognize who the hot hand is. I know Tolbert is the star, but the hot hand is Durant. Get the ball over to Durant. She had a wide open shot at the top of the key, and I guarantee I can only guarantee so much from the sideline, but I guarantee she would have hit that shot.
Sometimes the ego that makes these players so great can sometimes cloud judgment. Sometimes, I agree with you. You gotta feed them until they can't be fed anymore. Look, there's definitely some holes in the Memorial defense. When it works, but when it doesn't, it looks ugly. Just like that, they give up the easy layup on the back end. There you go, Brian. That's who you wanted to have the ball in their hand, correct? That's Durant.
Let her get the ball in position where she can score.
Oh, great cross. Everything but the layup. And she gets a rebound and the foul. That is Cheyenne Whitfield. Brian, that was excellent dribble moves to get to the basket. She did everything but score on the initial shot. But, hey, way to stay with it. Way to get your own offensive rebound and give yourself an opportunity.
Dude, those moves were so nice. I came out of my shoes where I'm sitting. That's how nice those moves were by Whitfield.
Fouling out of the game on that play was Thaler Jackson. Jackson on the day for Weber International had 2 points and 4 rebounds. At the line for 2 is Whitfield as it gets quiet in the gym. As an empty gym can even get quieter, Brian, but it did on that free throw attempt. As we know, we're playing without fans here in attendance. Second free throw up and good. Excuse me. Second free throw up and it's good. I called it before it was made, Brian. Maybe I need to do some more forecasting.
Well, you know, the thing is, you would have been right to do that because up to that point, Whitfield had missed a free throw in the contest. She was 4 of 4 coming into that one that she missed. So
yeah.
The two hot hands, Durand and Whitfield, those are the ones who are playing. They're doing a great job right now. I know Tolbert has 21, is the leading scorer for Florida Memorial, but Durand and Whitfield are the two making the difference right now.
Tolbert trying to draw the charge right there. Just not quite fast enough. Good idea, though, Brian. I can't get mad at her for that effort right there. Only problem with that's her fourth personal foul, Brian.
Florida Memorial cannot overplay. Don't get reachy. Don't get grabby. Just play solid defense during this 15 seconds that's left on this play clock.
Not a dribble weave. Great hedge. Here we go with these offensive rebounding problems again, Brian.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate one. I think that's the first one of this quarter, and it's a bad time for it to happen.
You know what you have to watch out for there on a drive like that for Tolbert, as the layup is made by Chantel Barnett with the rebound and the layup with the opportunity to cut it to 1. When Tolbert drives like that, she's got to watch out for picking up 5 as an offensive foul, Brian, when somebody's stepping over for the weak side.
Yeah, and this is where I might want to play offense-defense.
Well, excuse me, not to cut you off. Speaking of another person that's fouled out for Weber International, this time it's a Maya Small. Small with her 20 points and misses her double-double with 9 rebounds, Brian, and 4 assists.
Yeah, that's a positive for Florida Memorial that Small is off the floor. So
now it's time down. 3:05 remain in the game, Brian. Did they call the foul or the travel? They called the foul. Go ahead with your thought there, Brian.
No. You got it.
Foul called. Foul called on Heather Durand on that one, looks like, Brian. That's going to be her third personal. Brian, we're going to be shooting the rest of the game both ways, as both teams are now in the penalty. Also giving you the other recap of this game, Brian. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. Also, remember that you can advance the ball during the last minute of the game by calling a timeout. Possession arrow is with Weber International should we have another alternating possession situation.
Well, the free throw game is going to be tricky. Neither team is shooting, I would say, my standard at the free throw line is always 70%. Right now in this ball game, Florida Memorial shooting 63%, Weber right at about 52%. So I think down this stretch, in this final 3 minutes, the team that makes free throws will probably be the team that's going to win this game.
And as you say that, Brian, Kiana Tolbert misses Another free throw.
And, you know, unfortunately, Drew, she's having a bad free throw night. And I know you don't want to take her off the floor, but with 4 fouls, I might think about taking her off the floor if she can make a free throw.
Unless you're going to get the offensive rebound, such as Cheyenne Whitfield just did right there, to bring Memorial to within 1 point.
Whitfield has 8 total rebounds, 5 of them on the offensive glass.
Brian, we got multiple players on both teams in foul trouble. Barnett and Tolbert have 4 fouls for Florida Memorial, and Watnick has 4 for Webber International.
Well, this is where the assistant coaches, that your assistant coaches who are tracking this, let's see how well they can communicate who to keep in, who to pull out, because I definitely would be thinking about playing offense and defense with a couple of players right now.
And one. Big-time players make big-time shots, Brian.
I have no idea.
Tolbert.
How did that shot go? I thought the foul was actually on the floor, Drew. I'm surprised they gave the continuation on that.
Hey, we take what we can get around here in South Florida, Brian.
Is that a home court call, Drew?
Definitely a home court call. Not a homer call. That's that home court call, you know, that I'm not going to say you expect that you won't at home.
This potentially could be the first tie since
it didn't happen.
I jinxed it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, but you got to realize Tolbert is only shooting 56% on the season from the free throw line, Brian.
Look, that's what I was saying earlier.
Rebound. Barnett.
Well, she's got to stop rushing. Why rush?
You know, we went from basketball to soccer on that play, Brian, as we kicked the ball out of bounds.
And see, that coming up the sideline with that kind of pressure, I mean, give credit to Webber International for, one, staying right with the ball handler on that as she's coming up the floor, and then doing a great job of not reaching or bumping her, letting the ball handler turn the ball over herself, which is exactly what she did.
And I think Florida Memorial has just called a timeout. It's a 30-second timeout, Brian. 2:16 remain. Florida Memorial has had probably 3-4 opportunities to either tie or take the lead here late in this ball game, Brian. What is it going to take for Florida Memorial to get over that hump?
Well, honestly, Drew, I mean, you know, I think can you play a defensive possession without fouling? And then when you come back on the other end, who do you want to have the ball? I mean, I know Tolbert is the scorer, but again, I thought Duran had been a good, you know, a complimentary piece, so to speak, in this ball game. But keep an eye on Tillman. I mean, Tillman, we know she can shoot the ball, and if she gets an opportunity and she gets a wide open look, I will not be surprised to see Jamari Tillman shoot that 3-pointer if it becomes available.
That's a tough call right there, Brian. It's the right call, but it's a tough call.
But Drew, isn't that the opposite of what I just talked about a second ago from the Webber International player running stride for stride with the ball handler and letting her turn the ball over versus what you saw right there? That little bump, because you tried to close the angle, resulted in a foul.
Correct. First shot is up and good.
It's all coming down to free throws, Drew, just like we predicted. Whoever makes them, whoever misses them, will win or lose this game.
As a team, Webber International shoots just under 52% for the season. Florida Memorial shoots 65.5% for the season. And you got a chant of defense from the Webber International other men's players and players on the bench. As Tolbert looks, kick over. Heather Durant. Brian, she has quietly No, I'm not going to say quietly. She has taken over this fourth quarter.
Thank you. I was going to say it's not quiet. It's not quiet. Between her and Whitfield, they have taken over this quarter.
She goes for 2 with opportunity to cut it to 1. Go ahead.
Do her teammates or their teammates recognize that?
Probably just as important, Brian. Which one of those coaches over there is saying, give the ball to 0?
Let me ask you this, Drew. Are you surprised that they're not playing offense-defense with Tolbert right now? With 4 fouls, that would have been a great opportunity to get her off the floor.
I'm not sure, but you definitely want to get the ball to Durant's hand. And Durant is just having a lights-out performance here today. Great defense by Whitfield right there. Bodies all over the floor. Both teams hustled after the balls. This is probably one of the biggest possessions of the game right here, Brian.
Good switch. Good switch.
Oh, it's lucky didn't get called for the offensive foul right there. Bodies on the floor once again. Possession arrow goes to Weber International. But, Brian, 4 seconds remain on the shot clock. So if you're Florida Memorial, you want to make sure when Weber catches this ball, they catch this ball going towards half court to make their possession even tougher, Brian.
And what are you seeing? What I've seen right now, the defense perimeter for Florida Memorial on that dribble weave, they decided to switch, which is a great move. So that way nobody gets beat, or at least you shouldn't get beat on the drive, which is what Weber wants to do. They want to be able to dribble handoff and catch somebody out of position and drive around towards the basket. But if you switch, nobody has to worry about guarding anybody individually.
And the only problem with that is when you're the guard in the middle and you're the one who have to switch on to everybody, you got to make sure that you're playing your defensive principles properly, because if you slack off just a little bit, you open up that lane for somebody else to drive, Brian.
True enough. And you know, I will say with that high screener, I think you know, that's another thing that you got to be careful of. But as you saw, you almost had a moving screen call, correct? I think you pointed that out.
Yes. Now, you got to watch your head. What I see right here, Brian, they're going to run some type of either post-cross action, or they're going to run somebody to this near corner.
Good call, Drew. Good call.
Offensive rebound, Weber. Foul call.
And again, you cannot stand next to your opponent. You have to be willing to put a body on I like to say, put a body on the other color, and you got to move. You have to fight for that position. Nobody from Florida Memorial fought hard enough for that position, and they gave up an offensive rebound.
But even still, with that, Brian, this is still a one-possession ball game, no matter what happens on these free throw attempts right here, assuming that there's no offensive rebound.
Well, but the idea is limit them to one possession. Don't give them a chance to make 2 free throws and make it a 3-point game, which makes it a big difference between a basket to take the lead and a basket to tie the game or cut the deficit to 1. That's a big difference.
Yeah, shot selection does become different when it's a 2 versus a 3-point game. Got to take your time right there, Brian. First of all, you don't have one of your primary ball handlers handling the ball in that situation. Way to set them up, Weber International.
They did set them up there. And you know, I think Whitfield.
That was dangerously close to a violation right there on Tillman.
On that last possession, Drew, I was going to say, I think Whitfield got ahead of herself a little bit, you know, sort of feeling herself. I think, you know, she thought she could do something a little more than what she needed to do on that possession.
Yeah. Also, the clock should be set at 29 because the ball had to come in bounds to be put back out of bounds. You have to take 1 second off of the shot clock by rule, I do believe. Let's see if they're going to take that second off the clock.
It looks like Florida Memorial is face guarding, or they're going to try to deny the inbound pass here.
Look for the run and jump right here, Brian. Last time out of the game for Weber International. It's going to be a full timeout, so we're going to take a break right here, Brian. 46.7 remaining. Weber International 83, Florida Memorial 80. You're watching Florida Memorial Basketball on the Black College Sports Network.
We are back. For the first time in 62 years, the Florida Memorial Lions will hit the gridiron, and their home games will be streamed by the Black College Sports Network at www.fmuathletics.com, www.mybcsn.net, and on the MyBCSN app, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
All right, we're coming out of break with that. We're back, 46.7 remaining. Brian, what was that stat you just told me during that break right there?
Free throws in this quarter, Weber International's 9 of 10. Good Florida Memorial ball. 9 of 10. And we talked about the importance of free throws in the fourth quarter. Weber 9 of 10, Florida Memorial 8 of 15. That's a difference of 90% versus 53.3%. And I mean, I always like to think, cut those misses in half. So 7 misses. If you'd have made 3 of those baskets, we'd have a tie ball game right now.
Yes. Ball's in Tolbertan. Brian, when did the Emmys come on?
Bad foul. Great acting job, but
yes, that was my point right there. There was contact, but the acting helped make the call.
That was the right person to foul, though. If you're going to send anybody to the line, send Tolbert to the line. She's got to make the free throws.
She's probably missed, the last 4 or 5 in a row, Brian?
I know she's a competitor, and I got a feeling after this game, she'll be right back out on the court at least sometime later this evening shooting free throws.
Probably as soon as the men's game ends, Brian.
7 of 16 on the game.
That's the difference in the ball game right there. Free throws, Brian.
Just need to stop. Can't give up a bucket.
Oh.
There it is.
Okay. Got a timeout. Do you call it now or do you hold it? He's going to call it now.
I was going to say, don't you advance the ball on the timeout, correct?
And he will get an opportunity to advance the ball. 17.8 remain. This is a full timeout. Women International 83, Florida Memorial 81. We'll be right back on the Black College Sports Network.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com.
Back to live action, 17.8 remain. Florida Memorial down by 2. Shot clock is off. We've got a foul on the inbound. 2 questions right here, Brian. Did the foul occur before the clock started? If so, they need to put that 0.3 seconds back on the clock, or had the ball been touched? That at this point in the game, those 0.3 of a second could make a difference. Let's see if the referees recognize that. I guess not. Barnett at the line for 2 to tie it up here, Brian. Big miss. No team has a timeout. So you've got to make this one and then go for the steal and then foul if you don't get the steal in the backcourt. Got to foul. You've got to foul. They're trying to foul. They cannot foul her, Brian. You probably wasted a good 3 to 4 seconds right there, Brian.
Well, they had to be careful. I'm sure they didn't want to foul her with a push out of bounds, because then they would have had a flagrant or a, and then that would have been the worst. So,
Brian, everybody in this building, including those in stripes, knew what was going to happen on that play. As long as you don't push her into the third row, it's going to be a common foul, Brian.
Well, why does it take the officials so long, Drew? If everyone knows, you, me, everyone at the scorer's table, why do the officials seem to wait so long to call the foul?
You got to have some. You got to at least have contact. You call first contact, but you got to have contact. First free throw is up and good.
10 of 11. I mean, you talk about stone cold way to ice a game. Weber getting it done at the free throw line when they need to.
4-point lead. You got to get a quick score right here. Got to score right quick. You got to score quickly. And now, this brings up an interesting situation, Brian. Coach Brian, do you make the first, miss the second, hope for the tap out and the three? Or do you make both and then go for the quick foul?
What's the easiest thing to do, Drew? I say
go for the foul.
Make free throws and then make the foul on the first pass. I think you're asking for the basketball gods and God himself to step in with any other scenario.
First free throw is up by Tillman. Let's sit back and watch what they do on this one. Makes the second. Expect a quick foul. There it is. 3.6 remain. Remember, Warriors will have to come the length of the court on this play, Brian.
Well, and let me ask this. With the number of timeouts, how many timeouts are left now for –
Nobody has any timeouts, Brian.
Okay, because what I was going to say is, after that second free throw, you might have called a timeout defensively to get everybody on the same page.
And Barnett has just fouled out of the game for Memorial. I've got one other question, Brian. You would think that Moran would be in right now, Brian, because of her three-point shooting ability.
Well, let's see. They just opened the door here. Destiny Merriam. Let's see.
You almost want to miss this free throw, Brian, and make Florida Memorial have to get the rebound and dribble out. Now you can actually run a set play. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. It's up. It's good if it goes. Ball game. Your final score. Women International 86, Florida Memorial 83. We're going to take a quick break, then we're going to come back with our final news and notes for this broadcast. You're watching Florida Memorial basketball right here on the Black College Sports Network.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora. as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It was a
Your final score from here in Miami Gardens, Florida. Weber International 86, Florida Memorial 83. That's going to bring Weber International, that will move them into first place in the conference right now. Florida Memorial will drop to second place in the conference. Brian, give us a quick recap of everything that you saw right there.
Well, Drew, look, in terms of just this contest in general, a tale of two halves and two quarters. I mean, Weber built a almost, 20-point lead at halftime, and built about a 20-point